Surprising stat is that amount of breaches due to COVID-19 has exploded. In the metaverse, the minute you enter, every movement, everything about you is tracked.
It shows the sophistication of this attacker.
The biggest cause of claims headache in Singapore was obviously a breach of PDPA. But what we have seen in the last 2 years is ransomware has now overtaken any other claim in Singapore. My name is Andrew. I'm an insurance broker specializing in cyber risk for SMEs and startups.
I have Philip Ng, CEO of Bit Cyber.
We are from the cyber security side, helping DPOs or companies achieve data protection, because you can't achieve one without the other.
We're gonna be talking about, a deep dive into a few of the 5 trends and talking about the cases inside there and what it means to you, what you can do about it. The first trend, exploding data breaches due to COVID. Right? If you have traveled out, you have to download apps from all over different countries. It's posing a risk. Digitalisation and transformation activities. A number of firms, their data protection policy is not updated to their current transform, hybrid or digitalized nature coming out of COVID. Surprising stat is that amount of breaches due to COVID-19 has exploded because it has created a new working environment. People have broken out of the secure wall of enterprise office. This is something that you want to be aware of, that when downloading all these apps, are they necessarily secure? Meantime, if your company is starting to deploy apps, you want to be very aware. These permissions and all these things are subjected to the PDPA. Look at these breaches due to the tracing app. So if you are providing solutions like that, you could be a target. Medical data, I did a radio interview before. It's actually the most precious on the dark web. A credit card is probably worth like 30-40 cents. A medical data is worth 10 times of that. Automated processing has gotten the attention of the regulators in terms of AI data governance. Now they are encouraging frameworks and all that. Soon it will be regulated. Why? Because it is a slippery slope, right? If you don't govern it well with good ethics and also kind of automated processing. So this will be topic for another day, right? But if you're doing this, something to watch for, okay? We have been talking a lot about AI. We even did a webinar on this with the regulator, and we also have the guidelines there. We are going to do a course on AI data governance. We conduct course on ISO 27001 and 27701. Big tech. If you are using social media, some of you are thinking, oh, no worry, I'm using this cloud from Amazon or Google or using FB. The regulators are looking at big tech and social media. So I mentioned it's not a PIPL, the Chinese one. They are looking at how some of these social media are using personal data. So you want to be careful. What are you doing? Because some of them have automated tracking, all these things. In the metaverse, the minute you enter, every movement, everything about you is tracked. Many companies who launch mobile apps don't know how to look at privacy. Usually it's a third party. Your third party contractor have no idea about PDPA. And when we did the sweep of the top 100 mobile apps in Singapore, it was published in Straits Times. We swept the one in Singapore, Philippines, and Malaysia. 80-90% of them are in potential breach of the data protection law. So, trend 4, certification-based compliance, both for company in their contracts, in due diligence, and also in jobs. They'll ask you, do you have Trustmark or ISO? And same thing in jobs. Straight, right? We are Trustmark company, so you can put this on your company's website. At the company level, Trustmark is going up. You actually need a process of making sure that you have all the evidences, exactly like ISO. So you can see all these standards-based compliance are going mainstream. If you all want to know about hottest and higher paid data protection job, we pull out all the juicy ones. Guess what? You see what they put here? Qualifications such as CIPP, such as CIPM, best standard is to go towards Trustmark. So, where are you if you are hiring head of departments? Now, for DPO or DP committee, you may want to do a beginning of the year roadmap. So we have a free one, talking about e-learning. So we have these 4 categories: awareness training, enforcement cases, policy, risk, and it's part of our platform subscription. And we have new e-learning modules every month.
I will move on to a more cyber security perspective to see how cyber plays a role in achieving data protection. Remember this, The thing that every hacker needs in order to steal anything is a user ID and password. And phishing is still the most effective means of stealing your user ID and password. It shows the sophistication of this attacker. They are well organized, they know what they're doing, they don't just use one standard mass mailing or mass phishing SMS to hit everybody, but they tune it for different people. Now, how do you send a spoof SMS? Is it easy to do? How do we protect ourselves against this? It can detect never seen before phishing websites. BitCyber is among the pilot users of this cybersecurity trust mark. So this will work hand in hand with the data protection trust mark, because you are now have both in place to assure your customers that you're able to protect their data, and you have the cybersecurity maturity to not just protect their personal data, but every aspect of the digital business.
I'm going to share some tips and tricks from a broker on how you can actually optimize the coverage and make sure you have the most bang for buck. The biggest cause of claims headache in Singapore is obviously a breach of PDPA. But what we have seen in the last 2 years is ransomware has now overtaken any other claim in Singapore. And fines is actually the smallest part of a cyber breach. Although most cyber insurers in Singapore will pay the fines for you, but it's actually not the fines they're worried about. What they're worried about is all the extra expense. Even if you may not have a cyber breach, just to investigate by a third party to properly confirm this, and this is actually part of the PDPA requirements. The initial cost is actually 10,000. This is for small companies. If you are large companies, the initial cost can be as high, I have seen $500,000. Then legal costs can easily hit 100, 200K. The other cost that a lot of people don't factor in is the breach notification. Having PR teams to come in to help you, to tell you what to say. And usually how PR firms charge is for every communication to your user. If you have a lot of users, that cost escalates very fast. You need to get other vendors to come in, third cost. All this can be picked up. And that's why cyber insurance claims are so costly. We're happy to sit down with you guys to understand what your exposure is and advise you whether it's too early to get coverage, or if you're going to get coverage, whether you need to be prepared for a lot of questions and what these questions are. We can help you to get quotes, usually quite fast. We can also advise you on whether your current coverage is worth it.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Andrew.
Well,
Thanks,
No problem.
Stay cyber safe, guys.
For more data protection resources, visit www.dpaxnetwork.org, the Data Protection Excellence Network, and sign up for free as a member to have full access to all content. Do also like and follow us on Facebook and LinkedIn if you found this useful.